Good morning and welcome to the City Lifestyle Committee meeting of Wednesday the 8th of November 2023. I declare this meeting open at 9 a.m. I would like to begin today's meeting by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we are gathered and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. And welcome. Obviously I am not Councillor Hall this morning. He is running just a little bit late and he will be joining us shortly. We do have a couple of leave of absences to run through. Councillor Jeremiah is also running late this morning and will join us very shortly. But I do have leave of absence this morning, and I have a leave of absence for Councillor Bannon, Mayor Power, Councillor Karansky and Councillor Lane. Is there a mover for this motion? Thank you, Councillor Murphy. Is there a seconder for the motion? Thank you, Councillor Stamp. Do any councillors wish to speak to the motion? There being none, I will now open the floor to vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. Thank you. That has been carried unanimously. Thank you. We have two reports this morning and I will now refer to the declarations of conflict of interest. Do any councillors wish to declare a conflict of interest against any reports on today's agenda? Lovely. There being none, I will now refer to the reports on today's agenda. We have two to discuss this morning, and the first one, 5.1, is Citywide Parking Enforcement Plan, and I will hand over to Mr. Brad White, the Director of Community Lifestyle, and Miss Emily Shafto, the City Safety and Livability Manager, to discuss the report. Thank you.
Good morning, councillors. Through the chair, on behalf of the City Safety and Livability Branch, I'm delighted to present a new citywide parking enforcement plan for endorsement today. Logan City Council continues to play a critical regulatory role in parking related activities across the city. As our city continues to experience significant growth, it is important that council works to ensure fair, accessible and safe parking for all. So in the past 18 months, Council has made substantial investment in our parking regulatory services with a particular focus on technology and safe school parking. This investment forms the foundation of this plan, which outlines the strategic roadmap for Council's actions over the next 3 years. The development of this plan was informed by an extensive community engagement process with over 400 submissions received. This plan is the first of its kind for Council and will ensure that resources are directed towards key focus areas which have the greatest impact on elevating public safety and ensuring sustainable behavioural change. So thank you, councillors, and I would be happy to take any questions or feedback on the matter.
Thank you. I have a question from Councillor Raven.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you. Thank you, Emily. I have two questions. One is when do the fixed like the stationary cameras start getting used around Marsden, Crestmead and Marsden schools, highs and lows?
Yep, so thank you, Councillor Raven. We are currently in the final stages of our testing. Those cameras are being currently tested in the field in random locations, and we're looking to roll them out in term 1 next year. However, this will be accompanied by a communications plan to the city before which we'll fully brief councillors.
Awesome. And if councillors where they're going in first in term 1 can be told so we can communicate via social media, that would be amazing. Absolutely. The second question is that I've been doing a fair bit of community engagement lately and gotten feedback from residents. They would like us to stop doing parking enforcement on nature strips because for a whole heap of reasons. They think we've approved too many little houses and the streets are too narrow and they want to be able to park on the nature strip for safety reasons. Is that something that we can do legally?
Thank you for the question, Councillor Raven. We understand it's a controversial one, this one, because there's sort of varying views around this law. It's actually a state government law which council must uphold for the accessibility of people using the footpath and road verge areas. So, however, I will say that council takes a reasonable and balanced approach to its parking enforcement activities. So it's our practice to give a warning to people parking in these locations before we give a fine. And we also commonly do big mail outs of educational materials to residents in streets where people are parking in this manner. So, but happy to take any particular feedback about problem locations from you, Councillor Raven, and take it offline.
All good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else have anything? Thank you, Councillor Bradley.
I just want to apologise for saying what when Councillor Raven asked that question, because I knew very well it was a state government directive for councils in all of Queensland, and it has been for a very long time. Thank you.
Thank you. I might add my 2 bobs worth in. I know that parking enforcement is a hard job. We follow TMR laws so that we enforce their rules. And it's a hard job. It's not one that I would like to do, but I do thank the staff for the job that they do, especially driving around in their cars. I have had comments recently, you know, where was our warning? And it's like, why didn't they stop and talk to us? And I'm like, well, what were you going to say? You were probably not going to be quite nice about it when you were going to get a warning. So the fine was issued via a camera and that sort of thing. One thing, and we've spoken about this before, is more social media, more education pieces. I'm always happy to push those out on socials. I think that's great. Again, with the smaller communities and the smaller roads, people just don't understand they can't park their 2 wheels up on gutters and stuff like that. So ignorance is not an excuse for people, the same as we wouldn't argue if we've got a 70-kilometre speeding fine and we were in a 60-kilometre zone and stuff like that. So I do thank the staff and I do thank your whole team for the job that they do, because it is a very thankless job and it's a very hard job. Councillor Bradley, did you have something else?
Sorry, my apologies. I did actually. Just curious, does council go and enforce disability parking in shopping centres?
Thank you, Councillor Bradley. Yes, we do.
Lovely. If there's nothing further, do I have a mover for this motion? Thank you, Councillor Raven. So Councillor Raven has moved, Councillor Bradley has seconded. All those in favour, please raise your hand. Thank you. That has been carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Does anyone have any GB for Ms Shafto this morning or her team? No? Ms Shafto, do you have GB for us?
Through the chair, yes, I do, if I may. So I am pleased to announce some new initiatives aimed at enhancing our city streets. Earlier this year, in line with Council's decision to allocate funding for a 3-year rapid response task force, I'm delighted to confirm that that task force is now operational. This dedicated team is tasked with swiftly addressing amenity-related issues, including tackling problems such as abandoned vehicles, dumped shopping trolleys and unauthorised signage across the city. So since its funding, we've also identified an opportunity to leverage the Logan Safety Camera Program to support the task force by proactively identifying amenity-related offences, in addition to their usual monitoring of criminal activities across our CCTV network. So this initiative comes at no additional cost to ratepayers, and it's our hope that it will improve the detection and resolution of amenity issues, enhancing the overall value of our surveillance network, which Council's heavily invested in over the years. So to complement this initiative, we will be starting localised marketing activities that encourage residents to take pride in their neighbourhoods and report all types of issues to council so they can be swiftly dealt with. We will be sharing this marketing collateral with councillors shortly. So thank you for the opportunity to provide this update by way of GB, and we encourage councillors to inform residents about this valuable addition to our services. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We've got a couple of questions from Councillor Raven and then Councillor Bradley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you. Great initiative. My hand went up because I wanted to get the material so I could publish it, but you told us you're already going to do that. So I'm really excited to see this, because the more value we can get out of the investment in the camera network, the better, and I think the community will be very supportive of it.
I agree. Councillor Bradley.
Yeah, my hand went up also about the trolleys, particularly because it's been a mega issue in Division 1. Please check out the footage from Springwood Park, because there's one outside Springwood Park, a Target trolley, that's been there for ages and ages and ages, and I've reported it twice, still there. But also in relation to your signage, there's been massive signs being put out by real estate agents. I don't know, what can you just say publicly, what is this? I mean, I think I do know, but can you just say publicly what is the legal size for signage?
Thank you, Councillor Bradley. I'd have to review the specific situation at hand in order to provide advice.
Yep.
There are rules around the size of signs, and they sit variously under the planning scheme and under our local laws.
Yes.
I'd have to probably take that question on notice. And
so advertising signs at a major intersection there's rules around that?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a regulatory regime around advertising signage generally, and it really depends on a case-by-case scenario what particular
Okay.
sign we're dealing with. But I'd be happy to circle
They're,
back to you.
they're in the system,
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you.
so that it's plural, they.
Wonderful. Excellent. We'll look into that. Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you. Councillor Murphy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, ladies. Thank you for bringing this forward. As you can hear, us councillors are very passionate about keeping our communities tidy and clean from this pollution. I just want to also add the roof restoration signs that are everywhere in every suburb around the place. The reason I bring this up is, unfortunately, I've had an elderly couple be scammed due to these roof restoration people. So my community is very vulnerable to those, and any assistance with removing those. So to the community, if you're listening, please report them to your local councillor or just ring the local office and we'll get them removed. Most of the times they are not kosher people, and they will take your money and not deliver the job. So please be careful with those as well. So I just wanted to highlight that because I have had an elderly couple be stung just recently. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Councillor Murphy. If I may add that one component of our marketing materials specifically tackles the issue of roof restoration signs and the like. We have specific materials warning people not to undertake those activities in response to
I
this
totally
problem.
agree, and I thank your team because you have been very active, because I report those signs quite frequently. And just to the community, they change their phone numbers all the time. They will only take calls if you leave a message, then they'll come back to you. They're a very targeted approach, so please be careful.
Lovely. I think you are free to go. Thank you so much.
Thank you, councillors.
And next we have 5.2, which is a report on sports and community infrastructure. It's the 2023-2024 quarterly report, and I will invite Mr. Ben O'Brien and his team to step up to the table. And when they're settled and ready, to take it away.
Good morning, Madam Chair, and good morning, councillors. This report before you is an update on the major sport and community infrastructure projects that we're undertaking in the first quarter of the 23-24 financial year. I'd just like to take a moment to highlight the hive of activity more recently in this space. Happy to say that the Jimboomba Park Rugby League Clubhouse construction has commenced. The Chris Green Park Clubhouse construction has commenced. Wilbur Street Youth Centre, as we know, has commenced, construction has commenced, and the Canubia Indoor Sports Centre roof replacement is under construction as well. And shortly, the Everleigh Park Clubhouse is expected to commence construction early next month, and the Logan North Splash Pad is on track for completion later next month as well. And in further good news that we hope, and continue on this hive of activity, is early in the new year, we're expecting construction to commence on many of the sports facilities program-based projects in the first quarter of the new calendar year. And they're all the projects that are identified in the table in the report. So happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, and good morning, Ben and team. I'd like to just highlight this report. It's got Division 12 all over it, which is amazing. And for the community, we've got the Noya Park lighting, Bishop Street lighting, Chris Green Park lighting. We've got Chris Green Park that started to get demolished this week and is started. We've got the Riverine Centre, the pool, the Eagleby pool. So I just wanted to say your team is working extremely hard for our area at the moment, and I thank you very much. It is under a lot of pressure, and I know the construction industry is very tough at the moment to get contractors and keep things on budget. So my thanks to you, but Division 12 is all over this report. Thank you very much.
Councillor Bradley.
Thank you. Welcome, Chair, too. Thank you, team, for raising this report. I just want to ask a question on page 31 of 35, Tallowood Park Rugby League lighting. It says in the project updates, it says funding transfer from Rosier Park project approved through the Local Roads and Community Infrastructure Program. That is awesome. Is that true?
Thank you, Councillor Bradley, for the inquiry. Yes, you may recall a report that we had a couple of months ago where we were seeking to work with the federal government to transfer the $9 million of LRCI funding from the Rosier Park project to projects that were still qualified under LRCI to be delivered by the 30th of June 2024.
Right.
That project, along with the Chris Green Clubhouse and the Jim Boomba Park Rugby League Clubhouse and one or two others, were projects we nominated to transfer the money so that council didn't lose that funding.
Okay. I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Any further questions, councillors? Okay, with no further questions, we've got a mover for the motion on the board from Councillor Murphy. Can I have a second like Councillor Bradley? Can I have a show of hands for support? That has been carried unanimously. Okay, I believe that is our last item of business. I'll just check if we have any general business for Mr. Brad White. Sorry, Mr. Ben O'Brien. Councillor Bradley.
Thank you, through the chair. I'm just wondering if I can have an update, please, on Underwood Park Cafe. And I haven't heard anything for months and months, so since the work actually happened there. Just wondering if there's anything I can be informed about.
Just to clarify, Councillor Bradley, are you seeking an update on the works or an update on the leasing arrangements?
Leasing.
Okay. Could I take that on notice for you and I'll just liaise with the Venues and Events branch and we can come back and give you an update.
So has it been
offline.
transferred there? Yeah, okay. That's what I was unaware of.
Yep.
That might be why I haven't heard anything.
All right. Well, I'll certainly liaise with Brad and we'll come and provide you an update.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, does anyone else have any further general business for Mr. Ben O'Brien? There being none, I believe we can conclude the meeting at not. Oh. Sorry, does anyone have any general business for Mr. Brad White? There being none, I believe we can. No? You do?
No, I don't.
Okay. Does anyone have any general business for anyone? Mr. Ben O'Brien.
So, thank you, Mr. Chair. Sorry, Councillor Bradley, just to come back to you on your question through the powers of technology, we've just got an update. My understanding is that the lease has been signed, but we'll still liaise with our friends in Venues and Events, and we can come and provide you more detail on that lease arrangement.
Very grateful, thank you.
Okay, guys, if there is no further general business, I believe we can close the meeting at 9:18 a.m. And I believe we have the city governance meeting beginning at 9:30. Is that right? Okay. 9:28. Thank you. 9:30. 9:30, everyone. Okay, see you then.